shit. All your friends, they hate your guts right inside.
Dear Mom and Dad, words cannot express how sorry I am for letting you both down. You raised me well. You taught me to be smarter than this. You warned me during all those hours of driving practice not to drive distracted, but I didn't listen. I made the choice to drive with distractions, and it cost me all right. It cost me my life. Mom, Dad, I will always love you and be watching over you, but I need you to do something for me. Warn others about the dangers of distracted driving. Tell them to turn off their cell phones before driving starting September 17th as part of 17's 2-second turn-off day. It takes 2 seconds to turn off a cell phone, but less than 2 seconds of distracted driving to get in a fatal crash. I don't want anyone to go through what I put you through. All the pain, the sorrow, the grief, the wishing that you could have prevented all this from happening. I may be gone now, but please don't let this happen to anyone else. Discourage distracted driving. Love you both dearly. Your beloved daughter.
Teens whose parents drive distracted are twice as likely to also drive distracted. Our children look up to us. They pick up our habits, good and bad. What behaviors are you teaching your children? What distractions would you give up if it meant saving your child's life?
Every year, thousands of car accidents are caused by distracted driving. The main culprit? Texting. So what is distracted driving? Distracted driving is any activity that could divert a person's attention away from the primary task of driving. All distractions endanger driver, passenger, and bystander safety. Did you know that you are 23 times more likely to crash while texting and driving than when you're not? In 2012 alone, 412,000 people have been injured because of distracted driving. And more than 75% of truck accidents are caused by the driver of the passenger vehicle, not the driver of the truck. To put the dangers of texting while driving into perspective, let's pretend you're at one end of a football field. Now count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Traveling at 55 miles per hour, you'll be standing at the other end of the football field. That's a whole football field you just drove blindfolded. As of 2012, 171.3 billion text messages have been sent in the US every month. And at any given moment, approximately 660,000 drivers are using cell phones or manipulating electronic devices while they're driving. That's a lot of potential accidents waiting to happen, and they could happen to you. Don't text and drive.
So, how's school?
Good. Where's Mom?
She's busy.
What are you doing? Mom said don't text and drive.
It's just for a second.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
Did you know more than 3,300 people die and well over 300,000 are injured each year in crashes involving a distracted driver? That's 9 deaths and over 1,000 injuries every day. All because drivers decided to do something else while they were driving. Maybe they were eating or drinking, talking to passengers, primping in the mirror, looking for stuff on the floor or in the console, using GPS or looking at maps on smartphones, turning up the music. Or maybe they were doing something even more dangerous, like talking or texting on their cell phones. The National Safety Council estimates that 1.4 million crashes each year involve drivers using cell phones, and a minimum of 200,000 additional crashes each year involve drivers who are texting. Truth is, you're 23 times more likely to crash if you send or read texts while driving, and here's why. Imagine you're driving 55 miles an hour and you decide to read or send a text message. It only takes about 5 seconds, so what's the harm? Well, in those few seconds, you will have traveled the length of an entire football field without looking. Your vehicle is driving itself. Think about it. Is there a text message or phone call worth dying for? Do you really want to lose your life or cause the death of a friend, family member, or someone else by doing something that is totally avoidable? Taking your eyes off the road for even a few seconds compromises your ability to control your vehicle. So use common sense. Don't eat, drink, or smoke in the vehicle. Know your route ahead of time. Use GPS before driving. Fix your hair, makeup, and outfit at home. Keep conversations with passengers to a minimum. Let phone calls go to voicemail and listen to the messages later. And never text or talk on the phone while driving. Distraction-free driving starts with you. Just remember these 3 things. Always buckle up, both hands on the wheel, and keep your mind and your eyes on the road. Do that, and you're good to go.
provincial government has already dedicated $50 million for immediate relief for the evacuees. That money goes towards the...
If you take your eyes off the road for just 3 seconds at 30 miles an hour, you will travel almost 140 feet. A lot can change in that distance. When you're behind the wheel, driving is your only job.
Everyone agrees that it's wrong to drink and drive, but every day 82% of young drivers drive like they're drunk.
They pack for class, then drive like they're drunk.
They offer a friend a ride after practice, then they drive like they're drunk.
They stop at the kindergarten to pick up their little brother or sister, and then drive like they're drunk.
They've never been stopped.
They've never even had a drink.
So how is it possible? Sending just one text from behind the wheel is like driving after you've been drinking 4 beers.
So join us at facebook.com/xthetext so you can show your support for safe driving.
Texting kills. Don't text and drive.
You see Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison. Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, let's come, bro.
Il y a une note ministérielle qui vient de tomber, je ne sais pas si tu es au courant, il y a toutes des mesures au niveau sécurité routière qui vont être prises. On va au contraire obliger les gens à savoir utiliser un GSM en conduisant. Dans le permis maintenant, on va devoir passer à un test GSM. Tu dois pouvoir envoyer un SMS et éviter un obstacle et passer à côté.
Oh putain!
Ah oui. C'est pas moi qui l'ai inventé, tu peux regarder ici, voilà. Ouais.
Il y en a beaucoup qui vont se cracher avec ça, je te dis que ça.
Je veux bien croire, hein. Voilà, ton GSM, je vais chercher des frites. Regarde tout ce qu'on s'en va.
Ah oui.
Oh là là. Nous rentrerons en retard ce soir. Et attention que je corrige les fautes après, hein. Regarde comment tu m'as écrit, Nicole. Oh là.
Ah oui, c'est impossible.
Ah, je suis de retour ce soir. Oh, là,
non, c'est...
Ah ouais, là ça te valait, hein. Bon, t'imagines, ça c'est un enfant. On va, vas-y. 443.
Honnêtement, j'ai l'impression d'être un connard qui ne sait pas du tout conduire,
voilà,
en fait.
Voilà, exactement.
J'ai écrit n'importe quoi, hein.
Tu n'auras pas ton permis à cause de ça.
À cause de ça?
Oui.
Bah c'est dangereux ce que vous faites.
Si la loi passe, je roule plus.
Non. Tu tournes, oui, mais... Regarde la route. Oh.
J'arrive pas. Non, mais j'arrive pas. Hein.
Il va y avoir des tués.
Il va y avoir des tués, hein.
Il va y avoir des morts sur les routes.
Je sais pas conduire, attraper mon GSM. Moi, je sais pas faire les deux, quoi.
Hein?
C'est trop dangereux.
A new warning tonight from the American justice system that distracted drivers will be treated as criminals. A landmark verdict in Massachusetts today convicted a driver of vehicular homicide, and his crime was blamed on texting while driving. The significance reaches far beyond this one case, and here's ABC's Amy Robach.
Negligent operation.
Two families tearful when the verdict was read today.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Massachusetts Judge Stephen Albany then imposed the maximum sentence, 2.5 years behind bars on 18-year-old Aaron DeVoe for texting and driving, causing a head-on collision that killed 55-year-old Daniel Bowley. Today, speaking softly, DeVoe apologized.
I made a mistake, and if I could take that back, I would take it back.
This after the victim's daughter tearfully addressed the court.
I would wake up at night and hear my dad talking to me, and I would get up and go look for him. He wasn't there.
DeVoe will also lose his license for 15 years, a license he only had for 5 months prior to the fatal accident. Phone records show he received 4 text messages in the minutes before the crash, the last 2 at 2:34 and 2:35 p.m. According to prosecutors, the collision occurred at 2:36.
You weren't distracted by the cell phone you were using in texting.
That is my testimony, yes.
But each text takes a driver's eyes off the road for approximately 4.6 seconds. It's like driving an entire football field blindfolded. Look at this bus driver. One glance down at his phone, enough to distract him and cause this crash. 39 states plus the District of Columbia now ban texting while driving.
What kind of precedent does this verdict set?
It makes it clear that prosecutors are going to pursue charges against people who are texting while driving, and it shows that juries are ready, willing, and able to render a guilty verdict.
And we are now seeing state after state increase the criminal penalties for what you do behind the wheel. And Diane, we saw today the judges are more than willing to punish those offenders.
Saying enough is enough. But let's run through again what can get you a criminal penalty. We know about drugs. We know about drinking.
That's right. We've seen cases of drivers convicted of homicide when they get into a fatal crash while using their cell phones. Today's texting verdict obviously takes that a step further, and one state, New Jersey, has specifically made it illegal to drive while drowsy. So you could be charged with homicide if you kill someone while asleep at the wheel.
But one state says now sleepiness
yes.
and an accident.
Get some coffee and get some rest.
Can put you in jail. Okay, thank you so much, Amy Robach.